Hey gang, we are in Tucson today, Tucson, Arizona. Tomorrow we'll be in Phoenix, but today we are going to do a episode on a young girl who was murdered many years ago. Case is still going on, and she is here at the Evergreen Mortuary and Cemetery. And we're gonna wait until this nice lady crosses. And then we are in on the wrong side. Well, we survived the going in the wrong gate. This is a terrible story that I'm going to tell as we walk to the grave of Vicki Lynne Hoskinson. She was murdered well over 30 years ago, and the killer is still alive. He's still on death row, which is just really unimaginable. Vicki Lynne was 8 years old, and it was on Monday, September 17th, that her mom let her go on her own for the first time. I mean, they always had a buddy system, and this was her first time. She was very excited to go mail a letter. It was a birthday card to her aunt. 20 minutes went by, and she did not come back. And that's when her mom got very nervous, and she sent out her sister Stephanie to look for her. So Stephanie went out and she looked and looked, and lo and behold, about a block away from the elementary school, there on the ground was little Vicky's bike, just laying in the road. Well, she came back home, she told her mom, and they knew something dreadful may have happened. Now, what's amazing is that within few hours, just a few hours, the police had already set up a command center. Boy, hats off to the police. Whatever a section in Tucson, you really just have to take your hat off. They already started putting some pieces together very quickly, and we had a witness come forward. He was a coach at the school. His name was Sam Hall, and if you ask me, Sam Hall was a smart guy and a hero, because he saw a strange driver who was making strange gestures and jerking with his stick shift and making faces. So he took down the license plate. Actually, he memorized the license plate. They very quickly determined that the driver was a guy by the name of Jarvis Atwood. And they brought him right in. They got him in the interview room. And as all these cowards do, they just start to spin their lies. And the big lie that was going on here, because there was blood found on him, that he blamed on stabbing a drug dealer. Well, an accident reconstructionist had a different opinion because they took little Vicky's bike and they matched that pink paint up to his bumper. And along with a lot of other evidence, they basically pinned him to the wall. But this coward wouldn't talk. They gathered more and more evidence on him, but this coward would have nothing to say. You look at his picture on the internet, I was just looking, and he is one of the most pathetic people that I've ever seen. He's like grinning in his mugshot. You know what he reminds me of? He looks like the Halloween evil jack-o'-lantern, the grinner. We'll just call him the grinner. Anyway, they had him pretty much pinned, but he wouldn't talk. You think he would tell where she was? No. So the poor parents had to suffer along with everybody else, wondering. And it took a hiker on April 12th, 1985, which was about 7 months later, that found a small human skull to determine through dental records that little Vicki Lynne was in fact dead. She was in the Tucson desert for 7 months. Now I'm going to fast forward here because this is absolutely appalling what's been going on for the last 30-some years in this state, in this country, because it happens a lot of other places also. And that's this appeals process. This guy's been on death row forever. And the latest appeals process, you know what they're talking about, screwing around with, is the abolitionist death penalty people. The latest maneuver is the drugs. The public wants to know what kind of lethal injection drug is being used, exactly, who's it being bought from, blah, blah, blah. So we all had to spend taxpayers to go through that case to determine that the public doesn't need to know. And BS going on is what keeps this guy alive. And you know who I blame? I blame the judges. We got a lot of good judges in this country. But listen, attorneys are doing their job, and if they're a good defense attorney that's anywhere worth his salt, they're going to try and get their client off, no matter who it is. The judges have to throw this stuff out. That's it. So we have a lot of bad judges, well, for a while. Vote them out. This guy is sitting in prison, has earned, well, he's gotten married. How perverse is that? He's gotten baptized. How hypocritical is that? He's earned 2 degrees. He's written 6 books, 5 of which are published. Should I go on? And this grinner is sitting there 3 square meals a day in a warm bunk, laughing his ass off. You know, the only solace we can take, that I hope, is that possibly it might enter his mind that he's thinking about every day is, I might get executed here pretty soon. So that's the only solace. Let's not talk about him anymore. It's not worth it. Let's talk about Vicki. And this is Vicki's grave here. I'm going to reach over with the camera. I'm standing to the side. Beautiful poinsettias. I'm sure looks like someone has been here recently. Beautiful green stone. Which looks like a ladybug. There's some flowers here that I'm going to just carefully move to the side so we can read 1976. in loving memory. 1984, Vicki Lynne Hoskinson. Well, I feel really bad here for her. Her mom said that she was a giver. She would have probably grown up to be maybe a caregiver, a doctor, or an athlete. She was really, really, really talented. She said that she just got that new bike, was riding it all over the place. She was a kind little girl. She was vibrant. She had an amazing smile. And she was just taking, and very excited to be taking, baton lessons when this happened. So Vicki was robbed of her baton lessons. She was robbed. We were all robbed, because Vicki would have really made a difference in the world, I'm sure of it. And we're all robbed of her vibrant smile and her kindness. So, Vicki, we hope you're resting in peace, little one.